Hello people! What is Patty Gurdy doing with all those numbers and letters? If you want to know, stay tuned. If you want to see the result of the music video I'm doing this for, then you should subscribe and also like this video. Crafty Patty! I will fast forward and watch The Expanse.
Hello and welcome, dear Guardians. Today we are making a skull Gurdy, or as one of my friends Knefko likes to say, a scully Gurdy. I like that name too. So first I'm gluing the eyes together. These will become the tangent box. I saw those in a craft store and thought, hey, they could be a great stable option of making the body work, since they are quite stable to begin with, and if I have a base to work with, it's easier to build it up than to start from zero. Here I am building the body and putting it together to get a first idea of how the stunt instrument is going to look. I mostly used a hot glue gun, and I used no measurements whatsoever, and I almost always craft with eye measurement. Why? Because it's more adventurous and fun, and because I'm a masochist. Ha! Also, I have seen and held enough instruments to roughly know the size of one, so yeah. And now I'm cutting the tangents, or basically the pieces that you will later see as keys. I laid them out in the distances that they usually are, just that I don't do 2 octaves of keys, but just 1. It's just less complicated that way. Here I'm cutting the mask into the shape that I had on my sketch. Fun fact, I first made a sketch of this skull Gurdy 1 year ago for my merchandising, and then much later had the idea of actually making a real one. Or let's say real stunt Gurdy, since it doesn't actually produce sounds. At least not the ones that you're used of, hurdy-gurdys. So yes, there is a badass new shirt design coming out for all Guardians. Take a look into the description box for that. If you're wondering why I'm building a new hurdy-gurdy instead of just using my normal ones, it's because I need a stunt Gurdy. So basically all the weather conditions or risky movements that I sometimes have to do in music videos is a little bit too risky for my actual expensive Gurdys. And that's why I decided to make a stunt Gurdy. For guitarists and violinists, for example, it's quite easy and cheap to get a stunt instrument, but for hurdy-gurdists, it's quite impossible to do it on a budget. That's why I have to make one out of cardboard and other materials. And since all of you know that I actually can play my hurdy-gurdy, I'm also just thinking, you know, I don't have to prove my skills to anyone anymore. And I can just make art now. Here I'm making the melody string bridge. I decided to use the eye holes as holders of the bridge. So basically the bridge kind of grows out of the eyes and above them. So far I've never seen people make stunt Gurdys, let alone the kind of design that I'm trying out. And trust me, it's going to look really badass at the end. But basically what could also be a thing is to put masks on hurdy-gurdys. I will definitely try this in the future. Like, take any kind of mask, like clown's masks or whatever, and just put them on a Gurdy. Because the shapes should work. Now onto the head of the instrument. Well, funny enough, this instrument has 2 heads now. One skull, and the other is the actual head where the pegs are. I made it out of an 8, because the H shape was best for it. Here you can see me paint the skull. I painted all night until my camera battery was gone, and the next day everything looked like this, and I roughly taped it together to get an idea. And here's the skull with the melody bridge. Then I continued working on the tangent box and started coloring it. Soon it looked like this. Also, I picked up a leftover crank from a hurdy-gurdy maker. That was very kind of him to give me one. Thank you. I planned for this instrument to be slightly thinner than my actual ones, since my actual gurdies are just that big to add a lot of strings and to make the sound fat. But since this one only has to look good, it shouldn't cover up too much of my costume and also free my movements a bit. The hardest part was probably to fix the skull and the melody bridge to the body on the right angle and height. I tried out a lot with this capital D that I ended up lying down and altering a bit. My mother has always been a crafty mother, so doing projects like these has always been normal in my family. It took me almost a week to finish this skull gurdy, by the way. I did it in several night shifts because that's where I can work the best and just get my tunnel vision and work till 3:30. Did my hands hurt? Yes. Did I burn my fingers? Surprisingly not a lot. And from here I just painted, tweaked and added details until it looked like this. Bam. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned to see the music video with this one. Bye bye.